And now, for a moment of clarity.
Michael, you were the head of the Republican Party. The Republican Party's always been for tax cuts. That's not new.
Right.
But now what they're doing is, there was always this lie that they were going to be paid for. They're going to be paid. They're never paid for, right? They always just blow a hole in the deficit. But now they're literally like, we're cutting farmers' money and Medicaid. And don't worry, we're going to send you $5K, which when are they going to send them that? They're not even. And if you've lost your farm, well, that doesn't help. Your thoughts?
No, I agree with that. None of it is geared towards the working middle class of this country, and certainly not the working poor. And so these programs which DOGE is going after in the guise of efficiency is really more designed to create those lanes to justify spending on the back end. All of this money is being accumulated to your lead-in to pay for the tax cut. That's this is the end game. So let's not be stupid, people, and understand exactly what the deal is here. This is not about government efficiencies, because there's nothing efficient about what Elon Musk is doing. Secondly, the New York example of the pricing that the city put in place with the state's approval. This flies in the face of everything that George Mason talked about. And there were a lot of folks at the time concerned about an overreaching federal government. So the party that said, hey, the federal government has no place in states' rights, that little 10th Amendment thing, right, where the states get to call the shots for themselves and their local governments, even that's now blown out of the water. That cover has been exposed. So now we have a fuller appreciation of what the end game is here. This new cover of Time out of the White House today with Donald Trump with a crown on his head, that's the end game. And the price that's going to be paid are civil liberties, the taxes that you have to pay for your rights to be taken from you, and ultimately an expansion of a very wealthy class of individuals that will be the American version of oligarchs. That's really the end game here. And across the way, Donald Trump gets richer and richer in the process.
Right. I mean, and the thing that's been so wild, Michael, is watching Republican members sort of meekly say, hey, maybe please don't cut my Kansas money, but not really fight for it. Right. And the first thing they're going to throw overboard is tax on tips. They're not going to do that. The first thing they're going to throw overboard is no tax on Social Security. That's not going to happen. They're going to keep all of the stuff that's going to help Elon Musk. You think they're going to cut Elon's defense contracts?
Thank you,
they're
Joy.
not. He's going to make money
Joy.
while all regular people out in the heartland are going to get hosed.
I mean, America, the richest man in the world, is sitting atop of our federal government. And that 30% that my buddy David just referred to, he's a big part of that 30% in his government contracts, the 17 or 18 contracts he has. Is he looking at that? No. Is he going to look at that? No. The waste, fraud, and abuse in an Elon Musk contract, I'd love to take a fine-tooth comb. Let David Jolly, who sat on those committees, go through those contracts. I bet you he'd find a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. But,
thank you.
What's waste, fraud, and abuse for you is not for me. All right.
Correct.
And that's the space we're into. So we just need to be honest about this. I mean, the reality of it is the American people are now slowly waking up to this new reality. Yes, even in red states where you've now got members going and quietly, as you rightly noted, saying, please don't cut this program because it's going to hurt my people. Well, really? Oh, you're just realizing that? You've been out here, promoting this. And so now you want to cleave out a little corner for your folks? Well, what about the folks next door? What about the folks down the street? And so that's the compounding reality that needs to be leveled up in these conversations. Real quick, just a question for the American people. Envision what a recovery looks like on the other side of all of this when this administration is done and the damage has been wrought. Have you considered how we're going to build back the infrastructure of the federal government to reestablish those programs that you now rely on to pay for your kids, to help your kids, to help your family?
Yeah, because it's going to be GONE gone because they got to pay for that tax cut.
Catch Michael Steele on The Weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on MSNBC.